Hey,
Oh, hey,
how you doing?
good. How are you?
I'm good. So, hey guys, what's up? It's Musam Salah here, and so today I have a special guest. He's probably the first in my school history to get accepted into Harvard and Princeton.
I am not. Someone got in last year.
Oh, well, let me give you a small backstory on how I got to know him. So, James is a senior at my school. He's also my advisory mentor, and he finished high school with the exact 4.0 GPA. So, James, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
so you already said my name is James. I'm a senior at Rockbridge High School, and in the fall, I'm going to be attending Harvard University to study physics.
So, how's the coronavirus thing? How's it going for you?
I mean, it's going to like it's basically affected me like it's affected everyone. You know, a lot of staying inside. It gets kind of boring doing the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
But I'm dealing with it well. I've been cooking, I've been baking, reading a little bit. Um,
Nice.
Still not as nice as not having a global pandemic happening, but it hasn't affected me too much personally.
That's cool. So when you first got accepted into Harvard, like, what was your reaction?
The reaction wasn't actually that much. I think it was more from my family because at that point, so in the early decision round, I'd been accepted to Princeton University. So I already felt, very comfortable going to Princeton because, of course, it's a fantastic school as well. And I like, just in my head, it was like, I'm going to Princeton. So whenever I got the news about Harvard, um, it wasn't really that much. Like, of course, I was very happy, and you're always surprised to get into a school like that. But I would say the bigger reaction that I had was when I initially got into Princeton. But yeah,
That's nice. So what do you plan to major in, and why did you choose that major?
I'm planning to major in physics, just because I really like science, and physics has always come somewhat naturally to me, while it's also to me one of like the most interesting sciences. Of course, everyone's different in terms of what they like, but for me, with physics, I really just like the sort of fundamental nature of it, and how a lot of stuff can sort of just rise up from like a few basic assumptions, and that just really appeals to me. So that's what I'm looking to major in. And then I also might take a secondary or like it's called like a minor in either like philosophy or maybe like math or computer science. Just because I'm really into those fields too.
Nice. So like, what do you do during your downtime?
During my downtime, well, during coronavirus, all of my time has been downtime. So yeah, recently I've been doing a lot of baking. I taught myself how to make bagels, which are really fun to make. I read a couple of books, short books though, so I haven't read that much. I spend a lot of time on my phone, to be honest. TikTok is very addictive. I play some Clash Royale still. Um, yeah, probably more than I should. I take a lot of time on that. And then recently, just to sort of start preparing for college more, I've been trying to teach myself some like software for like math and programming called like Mathematica, and then another thing called MATLAB. I'm just trying to get the hang of. So just a lot of different stuff. Yeah.
That's nice. So what are your plans after college?
After college, that is a little bit up in the air for me. The track that I'm probably going to follow is graduate and then hopefully go into a PhD program for physics. Get a PhD, postdoc, and then from there, hopefully be able to find like a research professor position. Um, so that's probably like the main track for what I'm looking at the most. Besides that, I'm also thinking about potentially having potentially going to law school and then trying to follow that track. I could see myself going into like politics or computer science. And just recently, I've also like considered maybe going into something like consulting. But for the most part, I'm pretty focused on pursuing physics as a career.
It's nice. So like, were you expecting to get into Harvard University?
Well, I wasn't expecting it, but I wasn't that surprised. Not because I thought that I was at all like near the caliber of that, but because I had actually had a second interview. So sometimes, generally, if you're like a borderline candidate, so right on the edge of getting in or not getting in, or if they have things where like say like your interviewer says nice things about you, but like they don't really explain why they said those things, then Harvard will offer you a second interview. And then I had done some peeking around online, and the acceptance rate for people who have a second interview is about 50-50. So I'd say I was honestly more surprised that I got the second interview than that I got in afterwards. But it's Harvard, so to get in is still always a shock, no matter what. But it wasn't as much of a shock as it would have been without that second interview.
Nice. So, do you have any study habits?
Study habits. I could definitely have better study habits. I'm going to try to work on that before I get to college. But the biggest thing I'd say is like treat your phone like it is evil and poison and put that away somewhere. If you have your phone near you, at least for me, while you're trying to really do hard work, it gets extremely hard to focus. So whenever I really wanted to get stuff done throughout high school, I take my phone, I'd put it on the other side of my room and just leave it there until I got whatever I needed to get done. Also for me, just keeping like a regular sleep schedule, eating fairly healthy food, and getting some caffeine, just so that I'm in the right like physical headspace to approach work is really useful. Um, I also sometimes like to listen to music, but I don't need it to work. Yeah, I'd say one big thing with studying that I could have also done a better job with is just having consistency. If you just have a routine and you like habitually like come home and then do like a couple hours of homework, I think that is a huge help to most people. Because it's like keeping up the momentum of being able to do work. Like starting is the hard part, and if you have it built into a routine, starting it isn't as difficult as it would be otherwise.
Okay. What advice can you give any upcoming freshmen that are wanting to aim high?
So upcoming high school freshmen.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would say the biggest thing is like this sounds cheesy, but genuinely like find something you're passionate about and pursue that the most deeply. Just because that's what you're going to enjoy the most. That's what you're going to be the most successful in. If it's something that because most likely if it's something you enjoy, it's something that you're fairly good at. So you're going to be able to get a lot out of that. And then, if you're looking specifically at like the college admissions process, of course, college isn't for everyone. Different schools, people can be really happy at. But if your goal is to get into a fairly selective college, the best way to do that, it seems now, is sort of to actually just, there's the whole idea of like being well-rounded, but a lot of colleges now look for people who have been very successful in one area. So like I would say that I was sort of a mix of well-rounded and successful in one area, in that a lot of my extracurriculars focused around physics, in that I had done like physics Olympiad, and I had like a physics internship and stuff like that. But then I also had like other stuff like speech and debate and Model UN. Um, but yeah, so overall, like one thing that actually I wish I could have done better is just find something that you really like and pursue it deeply, because then that passion is going to come off, and people are really going to see that, and you're actually going to be able to accomplish something that you're proud of in high school.
Okay. I got one more question for you. How do you avoid like drama in school and everything?
Oh, avoiding drama in school. I'd say that's a difficult one because high school is, you have so many people, they're all fairly high strung. There's a lot of growing up that happens in high school. So, I think near the end of high school, it gets easier to avoid drama than near the start because there's just, people are more over it. Um, I'd say with avoiding drama, one good thing is, try to keep personal stuff like to yourself. Don't overshare. Because whenever like you start to like tell people too much, it's very easy for like rumors to start. And with that, just don't spread other people's rumors. I think in general, just making sure that whenever you talk about people, you talk about them positively. And if you do see like people trying to start drama, maybe call them out on it. Just say like or if you're not going to call them out, at least like don't perpetuate it, sort of. Because in the end, whenever there is drama in high school, it's made because people start that drama. So just people will start drama, but do whatever you can to not start it yourself and to not let it spread through you.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thank you, James, for spending some time to talk about this.
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye bye.